Hi everyone, Ola Adeni Zakios here, and I have a message for the week beginning 23rd of June 2024. And that message says, honey out of the rock. Honey out of the rock. And I'll be reading Psalm 81, verse 16 in the King James Version, and it reads, He should have fed them also with the finest of the wheat, and with honey out of the rock should I have satisfied thee. I saw a video recently where a man was lamenting the ingratitude of his friend. His friend had asked him for the sum of 30,000 naira, which is roughly equivalent to 20 pounds or less. This man was only able to give his friend 20,000 naira. He said that after he gave his friend the money, he didn't get any thank you from him. So he called his friend to inquire if he had received the money. The friend was upset with the man that had sent him the money. He said, how could you give me just 15 pounds? Even though this friend had never earned money in pounds sterling, he had converted his friend's gifts to pounds, and he was ungrateful. If you look around you, you watch the news, you see that the nations of the world are experiencing problems. There's scarcity of food, there's all manner of issues going on. I watched on Instagram how a lady in Nigeria substituted tomatoes for cucumber, or substituted cucumber for tomatoes, to cook a pot of stew. Because tomatoes are very expensive and beyond the budget of many families. Yet, in the midst of people singing a song of scarcity, you should always remember that there is no scarcity in the world. What is happening is that a few percentage of people are controlling a more than proportional percentage of the world's resources. The richest 1% controls 2/3 of the world's wealth. So that means that 99% of the people in the world are competing for 1/3 of the wealth in the world. There's no scarcity in the world, but the problem is that there is no equitable distribution of the world's wealth. But God said he wants to feed his people with honey out of the rock. Honey is sweet. The rock is hard. God says in a hard place, he can still give sweetness. But what are the conditions? I saw some of these conditions in Psalm 81. How someone can get honey out of the rock. And I want to share a bit of them with you, along with some of my personal experience as well. The first condition is to hearken to the voice of God. Cultivate how to hear God now, so that when he speaks to you directly, you can hear. Years ago, my family and I went through a situation that could have caused us a financial devastation. But I sat up in bed one day and I heard God speak to me. Go and sell in Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is a city in Nigeria. We don't normally call it Port Harcourt, we call it Port Harcourt. But that's by the way. So at that time, I was living in Ibadan, Nigeria. And I was selling in Ibadan and Lagos. I had a shop, but I was also an itinerant salesperson. But one day I heard God say, go and sell in Port Harcourt. It had never occurred to me before. So I obeyed. If I went by road to Port Harcourt, I would travel for like 8 hours. If I went by flight, I would drive 1 hour to Lagos and take 1 hour flight to Port Harcourt. And that was what I did. I decided to go by flight to Port Harcourt. My brother, God bless him, and his dear wife, they lived in Port Harcourt then. I would stay in their house. My brother will loan me his car and his driver. I will go around different business establishments, selling. In 1 week, I will have made enough sales and I will return to my home in Ibadan. I made this trip to Port Harcourt many times. I made good sales and scarcity was driven away from my family. I did all this because I heard the voice of God. Another way you can get honey out of the rock is by submitting to God. At this time that I was engaging in trading, I was already a chartered accountant. I did not want to be a trader. I felt cheated. I felt, look, my mates were getting plum jobs. Sometimes I felt like a victim of circumstances. But you know what? Self-pity will get you nowhere. Embrace where you are. Embrace your challenges. And that's the way you're going to get honey out of the rock. I submitted myself to God. And a time came that this trading that I didn't want to do initially saved my family and I. It kept us in sufficiency. As a trader, I had daily money. I was never broke. We paid school fees on time. We met our bills without having to beg anybody. There is honey out of the rock, but you need to submit yourself to God. Honey out of the rock is not for proud people. Many times I see many Nigerians on Instagram hustling to make a living, and my soul blesses them. Some will make a video of the foods they make. Some, before you know it, people will order food from them and they make a living. Some sell second-hand clothing. Some do all sorts of things productively and they showcase it on Instagram. I make it a point of duty to follow on Instagram as many people as are hustling for a living, because I know what it means to be a hustler. Don't be a proud person. Submit to God. And the third thing that will make you to have honey out of the rock is don't be someone that hates God. Don't hate God. Psalm 81 verse 15a says, the haters of the Lord should have submitted themselves unto him. When you hate God, you can't hear him, you can't submit to him. You say, oh, I don't hate God. You claim not to hate God, but you hate God's servants. Before they say anything, you jump on them on social media, you tear them to pieces, but you want to be miraculously fed through famine. How is that going to be possible? This is not a time to hate God's servants. And the final point I have for today, to have honey out of the rock, be a grateful person. That young man sent money to his friend. His friend could not be bothered to say thank you because he had converted the money to pound sterling. And he said, what did you give me? Be a grateful person. Nobody owes you anything. You don't follow people to their places of work. You don't know what they go through. When someone gives you anything, even if you think it's little, you shouldn't even think it's little. Be grateful. During a time of scarcity, the most grateful person is the one that will be remembered. Many people are competing for scarce resources. The most grateful person is the one that will be remembered by helpers of destiny. If somebody helps you, don't overlook it. Don't say that, oh, even though I don't say thank you, you should know I'm grateful. How will I know you're grateful? Am I a mind reader? Long story short, though there may be scarcity, no scarcity can overwhelm the abundant resources of God. There may be insufficiency, but always remember that God is a God of sufficiency. Thank you for listening to me. I hope you have been blessed. Please like and share this video with your friends and family, and kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next week by the grace of God. God bless you. Bye for now. Bye.